The summer house stood nestled amidst a dense forest, its weathered facade bearing the scars of time to the unsuspecting eye. It seemed like the perfect retreat, a haven away from the chaos of the city, but within its walls lurked a darkness, a malevolent force that awaited its next victim. The Johnson family had inherited the summer house from their late grandmother. Eager for a break from their busy lives, they packed their belongings and set out for the countryside. Peter, the patriarch, was a stoic man with a penchant for adventure. His wife, Sarah, was a nurturing soul, always putting her family's needs before her own. Their children, Emily and Jack, were filled with youthful energy, excited for the adventures that awaited them as the sun dipped below the horizon. The family settled into their new surroundings. The air was thick with the scent of pine, and the sounds of the forest enveloped them like a comforting blanket. But as night fell, a sense of unease settled over the summer house. Strange occurrences plagued the Johnsons from the start. Objects would vanish without a trace, only to reappear in the most unexpected places. Unexplained whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows seemed to dance in the corners of their vision. At first, they brushed off these incidents as figments of their imagination, attributing them to the unfamiliarity of their surroundings. But as the days passed, the manifestations grew more sinister. Emily woke one night to find her dolls arranged in a circle, their lifeless eyes staring back at her with an eerie intensity. Jack claimed to have seen a figure lurking in the woods, its form twisted and grotesque, and Peter and Sarah found themselves plagued by vivid nightmares, each more terrifying than the last. Desperate for answers, Peter delved into the history of the summer house, uncovering a dark secret buried beneath its walls. Decades earlier, a family had lived there, their lives torn apart by tragedy. It was said that the spirits of the deceased still haunted the grounds, seeking vengeance for the wrongs committed against them. But Peter refused to believe in such nonsense. Determined to protect his family, he dismissed the stories as mere superstition, refusing to entertain the idea that they were in danger yet. As the malevolent force grew stronger, it became increasingly clear that they were not alone in the summer house. The basement held the key to the Johnsons' salvation, or so they thought. Beneath its cold, damp walls lay the source of the darkness that had plagued them since their arrival. Peter, armed with nothing but his determination, descended into the depths, his family trailing behind him like lambs to the slaughter. As they ventured deeper into the bowels of the summer house, the air grew thick with anticipation. Shadows danced on the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. The sound of dripping water echoed through the darkness, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurked just out of sight. At last, they reached the heart of the basement, a decrepit altar, its surface stained with blood. Peter recoiled in horror, his mind reeling at the sight before him. This was no ordinary summer house. It was a vessel for unspeakable evil, a gateway to a realm beyond comprehension. But before Peter could react, A force beyond his control seized hold of him, pulling him towards the altar with an irresistible allure. His family watched in horror as he was consumed by the darkness, his screams echoing through the darkness as he was dragged into the abyss. In that moment, Sarah knew what she had to do. With tears streaming down her face, she made a solemn vow to protect her children at any cost. Armed with nothing but her love for her family, she confronted the darkness head-on, determined to banish it from their lives once and for all. As the shadows closed in around them, Sarah and her children stood united against the forces of evil. With a final, defiant cry, they unleashed a wave of pure light, banishing the darkness from the summer house forever. And though they would never forget the horrors they had endured, they emerged from the basement stronger than ever, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. For in the end, it was not the darkness that defined them, but the strength of their love for one another. And as they stood together beneath the light of the moon, they knew that no matter what horrors awaited them in the future, they would face them as a family, united in their bond of love and sacrifice.